You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's America's Got Talent After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's America's Got Talent After Show.
Hey guys, good evening. We are here doing another after show for America's Got Talent, closing out Studio A at AfterBuzz TV. I am Kaori Takee, and across from me is Kevin John.
Wow, she got it right. She got it.
I got it right.
I didn't know if today I was going to be Dwayne, Jermaine, Toto, but thank you for getting it right.
Of course, I had to do that in my head over and over again. And sitting next to him is the invisible Dan. So invisible, he will not be talking
Exactly.
today.
He's invisible and mute.
So, last week we missed a show to recap, so we're going to kind of go through that real quick. Since there's so many acts that we have to get through, Kevin, tell me which acts from last week's final audition really struck you as, I guess, bomb.
As bomb.
As a negative bomb.
Negative bomb?
Yes.
So like the bomb it was detonated. It never exploded.
It just exploded in the worst kind of way possible.
Oh, wow. Sounds like one of my farts.
Oh.
Okay, so.
I can smell them, actually.
Yeah.
If you can't smell them, which you can't. Anyway.
They're just like roses. All right, so anyways, enough of that. So what I really liked, I guess, or should I say the ones that negatively bombed,
Yes.
was, first of all, this guy who's a basketball free throw guru.
Oh, that was awful.
Oh, beyond awful is an understatement. I guess this guy studies the science of how to shoot a free throw, and he apparently knows it to a T where he can get anyone to make a free throw.
Yeah, and here's the thing. He knew the New Orleans Hornets.
Hornets players were there.
Yeah. So really, he just brought a basketball team to shoot hoops for him.
See, this is my thing. If you're going to choose a basketball player to demonstrate a free throw shooting method, get Shaq, okay?
Yeah.
The worst shooter of all time. If I see Shaq hit like 3 free throws, then I will crown this guy as the free throw guru. But you get basketball players, guards from Orleans that are good at shooting free throws anyway. It's like, come on, dude.
And well, that's funny because the judges actually pointed out. They said, "Hey, you should be the one doing the free throw."
The free throw, exactly.
And he did it, and he failed. And then Howard Stern did it, and he
made it.
succeeded.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good one. Is there anything else that you want to mention? The hula hoop girl. I want to mention her. She was awful, but she did stand out because she was hula hooping and burping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's one of those things where you try to combine 2 different talents, but they're not, I don't know, cohesive to one another. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, first of all, burping to me is not a talent. Anyone can burp,
Yeah, I mean, sure, if you drink a lot of milk.
Exactly. Or soda
me.
or carbonate. Milk makes you fart, if you're me.
It goes both ways for me.
Do you really go both ways? Okay, so moving on. But yeah, the burping hula hoop was. I agree with you 100%. It was not impressive. It was just like, I can burp and hula hoop. Like, next I want to see someone juggle and fart. It's like, really,
Yeah, I just didn't get it. I mean, there was actually quite a bit of X's. I thought this was great, actually. I think we should mention this was Dr. Bob Baker, who is 61, and he's a gastroenterologist, and he's Howard Stern's doctor.
Yes.
I think that was one of the best X's they got last week.
That was. I mean, because not only the connection that he had to Howard Stern, he knew Howard Stern from way back. Get it? Way back.
Yeah, way back, right?
Yeah, behind the back. Yeah.
And inside and out.
Thank you for taking it there. But yeah, not only did this guy, worked on Howard Stern's anus, apparently numerous times, right? I envy him for that job. But
I don't. I would not want to work on Howard Stern's anus.
Yeah, I was joking.
Okay, you scared me. All right.
Now, Mel B's, on the other hand, we can talk about that.
Oh, all right.
See, even you got excited.
No, not in the right way, but.
Okay. See why they call her Scary Spice. But at any rate, no, I thought his ventriloquy, I guess the word is for that.
Ventriloquism?
Ventriloquism. Yeah. He had an intestine, I think it was, that he was talking about.
That was what killed it.
It really did kind of kill it. But it was silly. It was one of those things you kind of like the guy that had the jokes before where he pulled the balls on stage and he was like, he was using all those prop jokes.
Yeah, but I wanted that one to go through.
I did too.
I mean, here's the thing about ventriloquism. Like, you need to like the puppet. And if it's going to be a large intestine, there's probably no likability there. So that's probably why he didn't make it through. But I thought it was a really nice gimmick that he was Howard Stern's doctor. I thought that was cool.
Well, if it didn't have likability, it had disgustability.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. But yeah, I agree with you. That was horrific.
So what acts stood out for you from last week's final audition?
Real quick, just the last one I want to talk. There was this lady named Jetta, I believe.
Oh, of course we have to mention her. I mean, she's the cream of the crops. They saved the best for last. Go ahead.
Yes, if you would like to say save the best for last, I don't know if you mean that in a talent based way.
I mean, it was a whole package, like her love for Howard Stern and
it was kind of creepy almost, her love for him.
I'm sure it was exaggerated, but the way she incorporated Howard Stern in her act, I mean, that was great.
It was really it was one of those things that's entertaining, but in kind of a ridiculous way. So it was horrifically entertaining. I guess that's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, and she even had hair like Howard Stern as well,
which was hilarious.
She had the perm,
and she had the same last name as Howard Stern's wife's maiden name. It was funny. I was kind of hoping that she would surprise him because there was that commercial where it said, "Oh, she's the next Susan Boyle," but it wasn't. Oh yeah, it wasn't her.
It was far from Susan Boyle.
Yeah.
It was like not good.
But yeah, that's a good one to mention because she was awfully good, awful.
Definitely noteworthy.
Yeah. How about so? What were the acts that really stood out for you in a positive way last week?
To be honest, I really wasn't impressed with a lot of last week, with the exception of the one, the only, Milton, the black country singer.
You've been talking about him ever since I walked through these doors. So go ahead, take it away.
Man, I seriously, I am infatuated with that guy in a very heterosexual kind of way. But I think that I just thought it was amazing. I mean, first of all, you have his backstory. You know, he took like 3 buses, a train, a parachute, and a boat just to get to the audition.
Parachute.
Okay, I made that part up. But he went through this long, extensive...
He should have kept that. He should keep that.
I know, right? But, he went through this long... So that right there just showed his tenacity. And then, not to be stereotypical, but when you see a black person, typically you don't associate them with country singing, a black male. But, he came out and he just blew me away. And I'm not even a country fan, first of all. And he made me a country fan immediately. I wanted to go and download a Garth Brooks CD or tune after I heard that. Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Element surprise. Ridiculously great singer. And I think he has a good look, too. I thought he was a total package.
Wow. Well, he was really good, but obviously the judges didn't think so because they didn't pass him through to Radio City Music Hall.
Devastated about that. Milton, if you're listening, I am your ride or die fan to the end. All right?
And he will go to iTunes for you. And speaking of iTunes, you guys should definitely go to iTunes and check out Serial Buddies, where you can rent or buy it for $1 extra. And there you can check out Serial Buddies, which has an all-star cast of our very own Maria Menounos. Kevin Undergaro produces and directs it as well. And who else is there? There's Beth Bears, there's Christopher Lloyd, enjoyed. It's just a really good, funny Dexter meets Dumb and Dumber movie. And while you're at iTunes, you can also stop over at America's Got Talent AfterBuzz after show, and you can rate us. 5 stars would be great, and leave a comment. We'd like to check these out and see how we can improve and make a better show for you. And also there are tons of other shows that you can check out, so check all of those out on iTunes.
Especially ours.
Especially ours.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I agree with you about last week. There wasn't any particular one that stood out. Even for me, Milton, he was great, and he had the element of surprise because he sang country, and I didn't expect him to sing that. But I think that probably the best one for me last week might have been Timber Brown, who previously worked with Mel B in Vegas, and because of that, she couldn't vote. So I was really impressed with him. He did a lot of, he went up the pole and did a lot of, acrobats. And that was good. Also, the synchronized swimming, I think, was pretty good. It was fast.
I mean, they had high heels on, so I thought
that was sexy.
interesting, right? I was like, synchronized swimming, and then they turned around and I saw the heels, and I was, oh, wow, it at least got my attention. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Timber was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
He didn't top Milton, but he was pretty good.
No, he did not top Milton. Well, let's be fair. No one topped Jetta last week.
Clearly. Oh, clearly. Clearly, she takes the cake.
She totally does.
She probably ate cake after that, too.
Yes.
On Howard.
She probably did.
Right.
She's probably in his suitcase right now.
Oh, Lord.
Well, we move on to this week's episode, and it is time for Vegas, where they are going to make the cuts into who's going and who's not going and who needs to audition to make it to Radio City Music Hall. It opens up with the judges chatting and talking about who they want to put through right away and who they need to figure out that's not going through for sure and who they need to kind of feel out. And only half of these people are going to live shows, and the other half is going home. Surprisingly, they already put through 30 people, and they need 30 other people to go through. That's still a huge batch.
That's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot.
And next week is the live shows, so I'm curious to see how they're gonna make that happen for us viewers.
Yeah, that's a lot to throw in and try to make happen. But believe I have no idea. Will be a lot of interesting stuff. Maybe they only give them 30 seconds to perform next week.
I think they're probably gonna have to not put through a lot of acts that we thought went through because they're gonna have to cut it down from 60 to the top 20 or something. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I mean, they do it every year, but every time it's like, oh, I hope to see the act that I was impressed with, and sometimes they just disappear. So
it'll be interesting.
It will. And so there's a lot of categories that we went through in a span of 2 hours. And so let's just touch up on the categories, and let's talk about our favorites and least favorites of these categories, or honorable mentions. So we start off with the danger category. I feel like this danger category for me, it was kind of slow. I know it had the element of danger and it's supposed to be exciting, but a lot of the acts for me were not that splendid. Well, which one did you like or dislike? And
the thing with me is that I somewhat agree with what you're saying. However, I was on the edge of my seat more throughout these acts than any other acts of the night. I mean, I was, and not just at the edge of my seat, the element of mystery or suspense, but ouch, or ooh, or did he really stick that down? Ooh, it was like I don't know. It was kind of like that tense kind of nerve kind of at the edge of the seat.
Okay, so which act gave you the biggest intense feeling out of all of them? Out of all the fives, we had David, Brad, Alexander, Sam Johnson, and the Red Panda.
I would say this. I would probably say that the guy that was juggling with the top hat on and he poured gasoline on him. I mean, first of all, just pouring gasoline on yourself alone with no match is just disgusting and crazy and dangerous enough. But the fact that he poured gas on him, he already had a hat that had a flame, And clearly with gasoline, he's highly flammable.
He sure is.
And he was juggling flames as well. I'm like, if one little itty bitty thing goes wrong, this guy is backdraft part 2 on the stage. Like, that had me at the edge of my seat. That was amazing.
I completely agree with you because he didn't do, for me, when he first came out with his previous audition where he went up on a pole outside and did a handstand, great. In my mind, that's great. It's phenomenal, but he's doing a handstand. What does he have to offer?
Exactly.
And he does something completely different, and it's more exciting. So, yeah, I agree with you that he was the one that kind of stood out between the 5 of these.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to give an honorable mention to Alexander, the sword swallower. His performance really.
I'm just laughing because you couldn't say it.
Yeah. Okay, you say sword swallower 5 times real quick. Go.
No. Sword swallower, sword swallower, sword swallower.
We'll work on that. Swallowing, that is. So at any rate,
A sword? Okay.
Yeah. We always have the one
know.
reference every show that's just.
It's a good problem.
It's a good, but anyways, like I was saying, honorable mention when he came down on the pole, it was.
Yeah, it was like that's the kind of stuff that makes you kind of sick but entertained. Like you can't keep your eyes off of this thing and what's going on. I did feel bad for Red Panda though.
Yeah, she was adorable. She was cute, and she had an act that was very difficult to, very difficult to execute. Mm-hmm. But it just wasn't dangerous to me. I looking at someone, twirling tasers, mm-hmm. fire,
that was
swallowing swords, and then someone that's flipping, little glass cups or whatever they were on the top, or bowls on top
mm-hmm.
of her. It was impressive, and like I said, it took talent to do that, but it wasn't dangerous.
Yeah, like I said, I think when we were watching it, I kind of feel like it's one of those acts that need to go with a medley of acts. Like she belongs in a circus.
Exactly.
But as a standalone $1 million act, I definitely probably wouldn't go check her out. But she did flub. She managed to mess up the bowl thing a couple times, and I felt kind of bad for her there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree, because you could tell she's worked hard on that, and she's, it's what she does. So I'm sure she'll continue working somewhere else,
yeah.
but,
She's got a job out there somewhere for her, easy peasy. So the next group that went through, the next group category was the music groups. So we had Forte, we had Brandon and Savannah, which is the brother-sister band, and the American Hitmen. There was only 3 in this category. I guess I'll let you know. Between these 3, Forte. It was crazy because basically in the auditions, they just met, and then at the last minute when they decided to go to Vegas, or they made it through to Vegas, the Korean guy pulled out. And then they added in this Indian guy who was phenomenal and better than they were. Really good.
Dude was dope.
Yeah.
He was dope. And I agree. Forte by far is my favorite out of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys, and the thing is, they harmonize opera. And I don't know much about opera, but I didn't realize you harmonize with opera. Most of the time when I see opera, it's just one person just, but the 3 of them together are in just such good harmony that complements one another, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And that's what I like about it too, is that there are 3 guys singing opera, because it's a nice change, and it just makes it more melodic and more entertaining, and there's like a value there that shines as a trio rather than a solo artist as an opera singer, because we have so many of those this season.
Exactly.
So really, really good. I don't know what it was. Brandon and Savannah, yes, they are obviously talented, but they seem like the kind of people that we would go to like a
at
club.
a local bar or pub or
let's go check out who are these people on this flyer.
Right?
Let's just go, and it would be them. I don't see them being a $1 million act.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, maybe. It's interesting, though, because the first time that they auditioned, they had an original song, and this time around, they just sang a popular song, and it just, maybe that's part of the reason why they lost momentum. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But Nah, they're good.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I don't want to be redundant, but you hit it dead on the doorknob.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The next category was the kids category. And we had 5. We had 2 unique and DJ Young one. What did I write? 1 demon.
Little demon. Yeah.
1 demon. Look at my writing here. Little demon. Melody. And then we had Ruby and Jonas. And Ruby is the younger sister of D'Angelo, who dances with Amanda. So we had, a little brother-sister rivalry there. What stood out for you?
In this particular one, I would say the one that stood out to me the most, and I would hate to say this because I know they're kids, and kids usually get the free pass because they're cute. I wasn't entirely impressed with really any of them except the brother and the other one. The brother and the...
D'Angelo and Amanda?
I think it's D'Angelo and Amanda, yeah.
Yeah.
I was impressed with them. I think they were really in sync with one another. You can tell that they were polished. Every move was just precise. And I enjoyed theirs. I thought theirs was good.
I'm completely with you there. I completely agree with you. I think that if in this category, if they only had 1 spot for kids, it would be that duo because they're really good.
Yeah.
And it's a little tricky to make 2 kids dance and be really entertaining. I'm not talking about group of kids. Group of kids is easy, but like just 2 kids at like ballroom dancing, it's a little more challenging because they don't have the maturity look that we're used to, but they're really good. Ruby.
Ruby.
I just want to talk about Ruby for a second.
Yes, please. Vent.
She was on last season. I think she was in the Untouchables, and she was the chatterbox of the group. And she is a great dancer, but she has a lot of sass. She thinks it's cute. I don't think it's cute. After a while, it gets old, and she was talking about how she's going to cream her brother. And you know what? She failed. And she literally fell, and she cried and stuff. And I'm okay with her if she didn't go through. I'm sorry. I know she's a young kid, but I just
show no mercy.
I don't draw. I'm not drawn to her at all in any way. I feel no like connection to her.
Attachment. You know what?
Yeah, attachment.
You know one talent I would love to see Ruby do? Be quiet.
Yes, please.
I would pass her on to the next round if she was just quiet. Like, wow, that was amazing.
I completely agree with you. She would be more charming if she wasn't so sassy. It just doesn't fit right. Maybe it's her delivery that doesn't make it right. And I know she's a kid, and I feel bad saying this, but she needs to work on how she says things sometimes.
Because there are cute kids that do say things that are, cute, and they say it in a very confident kind of way, but hers was just arrogant. It was cockiness. It was conceit, and it did not play off well. She seemed like the little girl in school that's always bullying and picking on the other kids because she thinks she's better and has her nose up in the air. She's one of those kids I would tell my son, you know what? You could smack her if you want to. Not that I, advocate violence.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and that's probably why when she fell, it was more like a ha than oh no.
Exactly. Because the thing is, you want, like I said on the last show, you kind of want. There's a likability trait that you have to have, and you want the audience to be with you. You want the audience to be, encouraging. That you want them to be supporting, going along with you. You don't want them to be against you. And like you just said right there, when she fell, it was more like a point. Ha ha! Look at that. She already drew opposition from the audience. So I think that was bad on her. Cute kid, but just zip it up.
Well, let's talk about. Probably, I'm laughing at you, cute kid, but zip it up. Note.
Just saying, please, for the sake of all kids out there growing up, looking up to her, no. Zip it up.
Yeah, well said.
I wish one of the judges actually had some, duct tape or something that they could have just whipped around her real quick.
I don't think the judges were bothered by her personality. They kept harping about how cute she was, and I was like, where are we?
I don't know, they were kind of feeding right into it.
Yeah. I really feel like they have a completely different perspective, being able to see them live.
In person, yeah.
I mean, for sure, but maybe it's just maybe she comes off a lot better in person. Who knows?
Or maybe that's just a character that she does for this. It's a
cute.
bad selection.
She needs a new character.
Right?
Character select, change, start. All right.
I love the gaming reference there.
Well, I wanted to mention probably the least of this group that I didn't like. This is Too Unique and DJ
gosh.
Young One.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know what it is. The judges really like them. They're like, the DJ should be in the front. I don't know.
I know what it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I do know. And Too Unique was not unique when they were out there. They were doing something that pretty much any child aged 9 and 10 or 11 and 12 would go out there and do the same thing. I swear it's like somebody just went off the street, hey, girls, you want to come in and sing this new Justin Bieber song or this Black Eyed Peas? Here's 2 mics, just go out there and do it. It seemed like there was no preparation. It seems like there was nothing planned. It honestly just seemed like karaoke at Chuck E. Cheese. And
I like that.
Yeah, seriously, there was no talent to it. And even the DJ girl, she was cute, but she wasn't really DJing. She just played the track.
I agree with you.
She pushed her button and then acted like she was doing. I'm like, you're not doing anything. I hear the music. I'm a DJ as well.
Yeah.
I know when you're, merging tracks or doing anything. It was all show, I guess.
It was more like a gimmick. Like,
There you go.
look, we're young and we're fresh and we're doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly what you said, karaoke, Chuck E. Cheese style. Yeah.
Right? I was ready for Chucky to come out there.
That would have actually made
Right?
their value better.
Yeah.
So the next category was the comedy category.
Your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I love comedy, and this is a little challenging, of course, and the judges kept harping on that, is because it was only 4 audience members, which are the judges, and nobody else, so no one could really feed on laughter. So I get it that having to audition in front of only 4 people and no backup audience members, it's challenging. I hate to say it, but these guys who were all pretty funny during the auditions, a lot of them were not funny at all. And I don't know if it was because, maybe they were nervous because they didn't have a huge audience base.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing that you're thrown off. And, as a stand-up comic, if there's anything
okay, stand-up comic, a DJ, go on.
Exactly right.
Reality star, go on.
Sword swallower, juggler, token black guy. That's the toughest role right there.
It's the easiest one. You know what's going to happen to you.
I know, right? DWB. Okay, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I guess the audience they thought I was Chinese.
I like it, Steven. I like it,
yeah,
Steven.
Exactly, perfect. The word is out. I am black. All right. So at any rate, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, as a stand-up comedian, you always, you feed off the audience. You feed off the energy. There's pretty much no other performance. Performance art I can think of that is not audience driven as much as stand-up comedy. So I understand how they were a little confused by that, but still, that's no, excuse not to be funny or bring good jokes. We should still laugh.
I mean, I agree with you because what do you do if you're a comedian and you are doing a show and no one's laughing? You got to keep going, right? You got to try to keep that momentum.
Well, the funny thing is, as a comedian, a lot of times and I'm not talking about myself, I'm just saying in general as a comedian, you're kind of taught to acknowledge whatever it is that happens. If there's an elephant in the room, you acknowledge. If you tell a joke that bombs, you acknowledge that, by following up with a joke like, oh, looks like I'm gonna fire one of my writers or, whatever. But, they couldn't do that for this because they had a limited amount of time. So they kind of just had to keep going and going, even if there was no joke. But, I don't know. Which one of these would you say stood out for you best?
Stood out best?
Yeah.
Best is Taylor. He is my personal favorite of the comedians. I do hope he goes through. I think that if he is surrounded by a bigger audience, he will be very entertaining. He's funny and he's kind of himself. I think that he definitely deserves another chance, and he was the funniest of them all. I would say the worst is the first guy, Jimmy. He just kept going and going and going and going. It was rushed. It was fast. I kept telling myself, where's the punchline? There was no laughs. It was just not funny. Done.
Yeah. He may go back to being a taxi cab driver, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had rushed through it, and it was hard. He was the first one to go, so you kind of got to where everyone else can kind of watch and see. So it's always tough being the first one. But I agree with you. And Taylor, the thing he has going for him is he's likable in a very kind of he's likable in a very sarcastic, dorky kind of way, and the judges love him. I can tell the judges.
Oh yeah, they
really
laughed right away seeing him.
Yeah, the first 15 seconds, he didn't even tell a joke. He was just out there laughing, and they were laughing too.
Yeah.
They were just laughing back and forth at nothing. So he definitely has that going for him.
Who's your favorite?
I don't know. I think the last guy that went,
Really?
John Wing. Well, I'll put it like this:
John Wing.
Funnier as person, I would say Taylor is the funniest person out of all four of them. But as far as tonight is jokes wise, I think John had funnier jokes tonight. And
Can you remember any of his jokes?
no, I can't.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you watch 80 acts, it's I think there was one that he said I did like that I cannot remember right now. Oh, I remember. He said, gosh, help me out here.
You just said you remembered. I guess you didn't.
I did remember, and I went blank. So that's exactly. Oh, he said, "Why was Tigger's head in the toilet?
Why?
He was looking for poo."
Oh, that's cute. That is funny.
That is. See, now you understand why he's the funniest guy.
I didn't hear it. It sounds maybe it's better coming out of you.
Yeah. What, the
Yeah.
poo or the joke?
Both.
All right. But yeah, no, like I said, I agree with you. Taylor is definitely the funniest person, but I just believe John's jokes were funnier.
Yeah, I think Taylor's gonna make it through. I have a
agree.
feeling even though he didn't do too well, I think the judges he's an automatic favorite.
They love him.
Yeah.
They love him. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the dance category where we had an Archbishop group, did the stepping, Hype, Art Spark, Kid the Wiz, and Dylan. So I know which one you liked, I think.
Which one did I like?
I'm guessing you liked Pop Lock and Dylan.
And what would make you come to that speculation?
Because your eyes bulged out and you smiled the whole way through.
Yes, you are right. Glad to know that you observed me while watching Dylan. I will be cognizant of that next time. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I as a breakdancer, I enjoy.
Excuse me.
But no, I have a great appreciation for dance, and specifically pop locking. And Dylan, I don't think he brought it this particular audition. I think his first audition was better.
Yeah,
I will
way
say
better.
that. I think he killed it, his first one. But I still like his style. I still like the way he moves. And, I think that he will be. I mean, when I look at the other ones, none of them really was stood out, especially the steppers. Okay, I went to a HBCU, which is a historically black college or university. There's steppers everywhere at those schools.
Including you?
Exactly. Well, I didn't quite make the step team, but, I played the drum in the background while they went. That was interesting. I was the mascot as well. So anyways.
Let's talk about a resume over here.
I'm telling you, I can't believe McDonald's didn't hire me. I'm like, did they not see what's here? What's going well, looks like I'm going to Taco Bell next week. But maybe they'll appreciate a stepper, breakdancer. But anyways, it's not about me.
It could be. All right, I'm sorry, go on.
If that's what the viewers want to know. But clearly not. You're wow. So yeah, no. Like I said, as far as steppers, I've seen plenty of that. I don't think there's anything impressive. Now, the greater nation may not be familiar with stepping, so this, may be the first time they're introduced to it. But for anyone from the South knows what stepping is.
Yes.
So wasn't impressed. But like I said, Dylan, that's my go-to person. What about you?
I actually think of the group, I agree Dylan was the best. He danced to Deadmau5, which is my favorite DJ, so I had to give him bonus points for that. But I think Hype did a pretty good job.
Oh,
I
they were
like
dope.
Hype.
They were dope.
And
I agree.
Like I liked them from the beginning. I was impressed that they didn't like their first audition. The fact that they kind of practiced early on, they still made it through. I'm not early on, excuse me. Early in the day, they practiced for their audition later in the day. I was very impressed that they did such a good job, and I think that they had room for more, and they showed it. And they picked good music. They had Singing in the Rain last time, and Queen this time. I hope they go through. I really hope they do. And they're dramatic, like you mentioned.
Yeah. And that's the thing I did like about Hype is whatever song they're doing, they're kind of like acting it out with big-faced, kind of Charlie Chaplin like while they're dancing.
Yeah.
And I just love it when you can incorporate the theatrics into the dancing. So it's not just your dancing. It's like you're telling a story through the dance.
I agree with you. And I want to mention, going back to Dylan real quick, is that it's really impressive and inspiring that he learned everything from YouTube. Because it makes us feel like, oh, we can do that too. Even though really we can't. Or
Yeah.
I can't. Well, I'm sure you can, but...
Of course, because I can do anything, right?
Of course, you've already done it. You made those videos, but
Exactly. I was the one that uploaded all 1,000 that he looked at.
But yeah, I think I'm impressed with Dylan. I'm inspired by him, and I want to see more of him. And Hype, I really want to see more of because of the charisma, the dance moves. I think they have a lot of room to grow.
I agree. I really like Hype as well. I think they are hype, to say the least, and they their dance really demonstrates a movement. It's more than just dancing. I would love to see Hype battle Dylan and just like an all-out battle on the dance floor, set up a ring, and just have them go back and forth on each other.
Yeah, well, that'd be interesting. Or maybe Dylan could join. Well, they have different.
Yeah, kind of different styles.
Yeah.
And Dylan, I couldn't. Well, that'd be interesting, but I don't think it would happen.
It would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Or you know what? Why don't you throw Ruby in to join Hype? Because she's very dramatic, so she can be dramatic while they're doing that.
I thought we passed Ruby. I thought we passed her.
What?
Well, let's go on to the acrobatic category. Honestly, I'm impressed with the acrobats, but this is probably my least favorite category of the night. Acrobat is acrobats, and it's very like cool to see people be flexible and stretch and have power and be able to lift each other up, be able to hug each other and stuff. That's nice, all that stuff. But none of these acts are things that I would be like, man, I need to pay I need to see this in Vegas. It's not $1 million act. These are the kind of acts that, in my opinion, as of now, the acts I've seen, these are the kind of acts that belong with like Red Panda, like the kind of grouping.
Yeah.
That's the kind of grouping I see them, not a standalone act. That being said, out of all of these, I think Timber Brown, again, who was my favorite from last week's auditions, is probably the best one in this category. He has a lot of strength, and he jumped from one pole to the next. All the judges were impressed with him. He's probably my favorite one of this category.
I do agree with you. I did like Timber Brown. However, he is not my favorite out of this.
Okay.
My favorite by far was the Kristoff brothers.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay, why?
Well, as a former acrobat, I looked at that was clearly a joke. The Kristoff brothers, the thing I like about them, and they even said it, is that when you watch certain performances like acrobats or dancing and stuff, you don't see the fun element to it. You just see them doing the art and taking it serious. And I think that's the thing about the Kristoff brothers. What they bring is yes, it could be taken as gimmicky, but they bring this funny kind of slapstick kind of humor with these outrageous outfits and these silly things that they do. And they incorporate that. They're great acrobats.
Yeah, they are.
They incorporate that into it, and it's better than just watching an acrobat go up and down a pole and twirl, the usual. So I think they try to make it a lot more livelier. And
yeah, I mean, they said that they want to have like a comedy feel to it, but I have to disagree with you. I think that it actually deters them from showing what they're made of, because yeah, we know they're great, but then like you get distracted by them taking off their shirts, and like last time one was in their underwear, and it was just like, okay, you're doing something really cool, but I'm kind of almost borderline annoyed that you had to take off your shirt in the interim. I don't know. They're not my favorite, and I think I can do without this whole like comedy gimmick. I'm the opposite.
It kind of reminds me of if LMFAO were acrobats.
Yeah,
they would be these
it's
two.
totally like that.
You know, with the outrageous hair and outfits and stuff like that. But I think, you know, more than anything, Timber Brown, I would say, is probably the more talented one. But I just appreciate the risk that they took with the comedy. And I appreciate, it just lightens it up. It's something different.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like seeing the same thing. So that's why I would give them my endorsement.
Is there anyone that like you liked disliked especially in here? I'm gonna say
Go ahead.
lovers from last. I wrote lovers from last week because I forgot their names.
Oh, Brandon and
Yeah.
and Buddy or whatever his name was.
Well, them like I like how they incorporated romance. Are they together? I think they're together.
I'm assuming they're together. I mean, they're both with their shirts off, dancing very close with one another. I would just assume.
Yeah.
You know.
So I mean, they have a story and they're very flexible and they're
They have great chemistry.
It's great chemistry. But for me, that was probably my favorite one, even after Christoph Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's hard for me to say that it wasn't that good or whack because clearly that's not something I can do. But it just wasn't as impressive. It was just kind of like, okay, just kind of blah.
Yeah.
Just, all right, it's a cute two acrobats. It's,
Yeah. Again, acrobats it's a tough category for me to get
judge.
behind.
Yeah.
All right, so the last act of this, not the last act, excuse me, the last category that they showed us this night was the female singers. And we had 4. We had Dina, Skylar Hicks, Selena, and Cammie. I just want to say that Dina starts off being super dramatic, and she is dramatic all the way through this category because in between every single act, we have a snippet of her crying or talking about how she's messed up or if there's having technical difficulties and how this is important to her or how she's overweight and that's why she didn't make it. Woof.
I think Deanna, if she is not prescribed to medications, I think she needs to be on something because she had some anxiety going on there, some depression. She pretty much exuded every emotion possible throughout the 10 minutes that they showed her. And, bless her heart, but I'm thinking that Dina is going to be a case. And I mean that in a way that, if she does go, I as an artist, I can see her being a diva. Just for the simple fact, I can't hear the track. She's that artist that shows up and says, I asked specifically for red Skittles in my drawer. I only wanted Evian water, not any other kind of water. Just that's so particular. She just seems like she would be a nightmare to work with.
Yeah.
Because of how just specific, detailed, and diva-ish she is. Also, with all the emotions going on, I don't know if she can really handle the pressure or handle the spotlight. Is she someone that's going to crumble out there and start crying? I mean, the woman just had way too much going on. I was just... I honestly wanted to consult her physician and say, is there some Prozac or something you can...
I mean, I agree with you 100%. And here's the thing is that despite all this, she is a very good vocalist. I think she might go through because the fact that she's a great vocalist and the fact that she is a drama for your mama and they need some of that for entertainment, ratings will go a little bit higher with her in there because you could either take her as a train wreck that you need to watch, or you can take her as a talented singer that you need to watch. I mean,
yeah, she's not drama. That's a case right there.
Yeah.
She needs like a psychologist on that show or a therapist or something because she was just, and I don't want to take away from the girl's talent. I mean, obviously she was a strong singer. Evidently, she made it this far.
She's not my type of singer, FYI. The whole Dreamgirls thing, nah, I'm cool.
Is it just Dreamgirls or?
Just her singing. I mean, she's a fantastic, phenomenal singer, but I wouldn't pop a CD of her in my car on my way to work or anything. So, but.
Now, out of all these singers, which one of these would you pop a single in your car?
I would pop a sing.
A sing.
Are you also singing female yourself?
Right.
Cammie.
the piano.
The pianist. I think she mentioned before this Vegas audition, that she has a lot up her sleeve and that she will definitely bring it next time, or each time she will show something different. And the last 2 times she did. Somewhere Over the Rainbow, she sang it so well in her first audition, and this time she brought out that piano. She had a great voice. I'm not a singer, but this one thing bothers me when people sing and you can hear them like inhale before they get to their next note. Yeah, so she was doing that a little bit, and that was kind of frustrating. But she was the one that blew me away between these 4 singers.
I agree. Kim was dope, but my favorite went to Selena.
Oh gosh, thank goodness. I thought you were gonna say Skylar.
No, well, I mean, bless Skylar's heart, but no. I mean, she's good. I like the guitar.
I don't think she's a good singer, to be honest with you. I think she has a very limited range, it sounds like. It doesn't go far and wide, and it's just a certain octave she can sing, perhaps. And
I didn't analyze her singing that deep, but or her octave, but. Yeah, I mean, I thought she was okay. I mean, she wasn't Selena. Selena was great. I mean, she had a very powerful, strong voice, great vocal range. And, she kind of reminded me of a baby Beyonce, the way she looks. Like, she really looks like she can be. If Beyonce ever had a movie made about her, Selena could play Beyonce in her teen Destiny Child years.
Like I mentioned, I felt so disconnected to her. I had no emotions towards her. I feel like I didn't see her at all in the auditions. I don't think we did. I think the first time we saw her was in Vegas. They show a quick snippet. They show how great she sings. They cut and they edited out like the whole performance. I just didn't feel connected to her. And because of that, I can't really tell you that I liked her performance. She's a great singer, but I didn't care for the whole package.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. They didn't really show a lot of her backstory, and they didn't really show enough time to allow the audience to connect with her or to fall in love with her or to have some kind of attachment to her. It was, but I mean, I didn't need none of that to see that she was a phenomenal singer.
Yeah.
From what I saw, Homegirl blew me away. Away. So I really hope that, Selena moves forward. If not, move Cam forward. But if you move Deanna forward, oh, Lord have
She's
mercy.
Going.
I think Deanna...
You and I should make a bet on that, but she's going.
We should.
Okay.
We should, actually. I don't know what we're going to bet, but...
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But if Deanna does not go forward, I think her and Ruby should get together and have have a duo.
That's like the second or third time you mentioned Ruby.
Because I know you love her.
Anyways.
Maybe that's our bet. If I win, you have to download a bunch of Ruby songs and...
Why would I do that to myself?
Because you lost the bet.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Then I'm not going to lose the bet.
Right.
I'm pretty confident. We all know here I don't lose.
Wow. Is that so? Well, that sounds like you got some of that Ruby confidence on you now.
Maybe I have better delivery. Maybe.
Maybe that is. At least yours is more sincere and authentic.
Oh, thank you. Well, that wraps up this America's Got Talent, and tomorrow they have more Vegas auditions before they make it to the live shows next week, and we will be back next week covering the live show from Tuesday and a little bit of the recap from tomorrow night. That sounds a little complicated, but yeah.
I think they got it. They figured it out. We have smart viewers, so.
Yeah, we do, and listeners. And in the meantime, where can we find you?
You can find me at on Twitter at Hey Kevin John. You can find me on Facebook, Kevin John Peters. You can also find me at your local bar.
Yeah, he pretty much does everything
Exactly.
and anything. Kevin John.
Exactly. There's nothing out of reach for me.
Yes.
Except money. I haven't figured out how to grasp that.
That's okay. We'll figure it out in a bit. And you can find me at Kaorious. That's Kaorious. And in the meantime, guys, follow all of us at AfterBuzz TV, and we will see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.